Hi there folks, my name is Novawing24 and welcome back to another Flight Sim Expo interview, and we are here today with a newcomer to the flight simulation community with their announcement yesterday as part of the initial announcements of an upcoming flight simulator, Combat Pilot.
Correct.
So we're here with Jason and here with Carlos from, is it Combat Pilot? Is that the name of your studio?
Combat Pilot is in Combat Pilot. We're here promoting it as our experimental prototype, but it's being developed by our company called Entropy Aero, which is a subsidiary of Barbed Wire Studios, of which Carlos is the CEO.
Okay, now I have to ask you, Carlos, because I know Barbed Wire Studios, and for the life of me, I'm racking my brain trying to figure out why I know Barbed Wire Studios. What is the background of Barbed Wire Studios?
We made a game called Gates of Hell, Call to Arms Gates of Hell. It's a realistic take on World War II strategy.
Yep.
Published by our partners, our German partners, Digital Mindsoft, who are experienced in the industry of making RTS games. And we love history. We like respecting the historical events that happened in the war, the realism, the different strategies of how to wage war, which are often butchered in strategy games. And many people like our game because it kind of has that niche associated to it.
And that's sort of my sort of like dark little secret. Like, I love flight sim, but I love strategy games, particularly historical ones. But it's finding good strategy games, particularly historical ones. I absolutely am terrible at them, but I absolutely love them. So it's great. So that's where I know you guys from. So what can you tell us about Combat Pilot? So we just I just had a chance to have hands on it with myself. What are people expecting? What are we seeing here at the moment from your publicity at the moment?
Well, we're the first original, hardcore, brand new combat flight sim franchise or product in a very long time, like 20 years. And we're the first ones to go back to the Pacific in any kind of comprehensive manner in a long time as well. Okay. So we're trying to be all the best things that you find in other combat flight sim products and bring them all into one in the Pacific and just have a blast, torpedoing ships and dogfighting and all of the really interesting air combat of the Pacific theater is what we're trying to bring to Combat Pilot to begin with. Eventually we'll branch out to other theaters, but we're here at the show showing our first prototype demo that is flyable, where you can fly and look at a couple aircraft carriers and fly over Midway Island. And it's just mainly a proof of concept of what the potential for Combat Pilot holds for the average flight simmer at home. So if you love combat flight sims, keep an eye on Combat Pilot. We have a long way to go, and it's only been about 12 months of work, but we have funding to keep going, so just keep an eye on us. You'll like what you see.
Because of course, that's one of the things that always comes out of these shows is it's the whole when am I going to get it kind of thing. So obviously, as you said, this is a very early tech demo, so we're not going to expect to get this next week or anything like that.
No, but we're going to have a phased-in approach where at every new milestone we'll offer something either to play or to sell. And if you're really into combat flight sims, you'll have an ability to support us without waiting 5 years, 6 years, 7 years for completion. I have a long history of iterating as we go and offering somebody something new at every step. And we plan to do the same thing with Combat Pilot. So just come along for the ride. We're not going to soak you and take all your money right away, but give us some time to kind of ramp up.
Okay, and from as I was saying, folks, I just had a chance to have a quick fly in the tech demo. Now, one of the things, of course, there's a couple of engines around at the moment. So tell us about the engine that you've chosen to actually use and build for Combat Pilot.
That's a good one for Carlos.
So we've chosen Unreal Engine 5 because it's an open source engine, and one of the challenges associated with flight sims is, since they have such a long shelf life, they have to be relevant for a very long period of time. And our core strategy is to partner up with Epic Games, who make Unreal, not necessarily partner up as in working together, but because they support the engine over time, whereas other teams have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in their proprietary game engines to keep it up to date with all the latest tech. We have the privilege of having a really talented engine creator doing the heavy lifting for us. So we chose Unreal for multiple technological reasons, main one being that Unreal Engine 5 with its new architecture for position in space and volumes, it can now handle the huge maps that are required for combat sims. And it's become just now versatile enough to not necessarily be a game engine for first-person, third-person strategy games, but also a much bigger aspiration is possible now.
So imagine the entire Solomon's chain from Guadalcanal to Rabaul all on one map.
So that was kind of like what I was going to ask, because one of the things that those of us who fly combat flight sims, we're used to sort of very segmented areas. It might be Stalingrad, a little slice, 40 by 40 kilometer kind of area.
Yeah.
So you're talking about offering like the entire Guadalcanal chain in one map.
The slot, everything from Guadalcanal up to Rabaul, and then eventually we'll move over to New Guinea and do big thing there. So it's. Yeah, we really like what we see with Unreal to give us those options for not only just making a beautiful sim, but the gameplay options of having a large map and all of the different theaters. That the Pacific's a big area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Europe, you can do a little Normandy or a little Battle of Britain or a little Rhineland kind of operation, or maybe Berlin or Stalingrad, for instance.
Yep.
But the Pacific are huge distances, so we needed an engine that was capable of doing that, but also look beautiful and have. Carlos is talking about the support that Epic gives to their engine, but it's also very flexible. So if we don't want to use something they build, we can build our own, and it's very easy to work with the Unreal Engine.
And would you guys be because I know there's been talk of Unreal 5 being used more in flight simulation, but to my knowledge, I think you guys might actually be the first to actually do a non-space based simulation engine.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really difficult to create flight mechanics inside Unreal Engine or any game engine that's non-proprietary and made for that.
Yeah.
The way we do it is a pretty extensive work that has taken us a year with a lot of tools and stuff, and we still have to go over very important challenges before we have the interaction between flight mechanics and engine that suffices to create basic foundational principles like multiplayer and having many aircraft in the sky and things like that. So it's not simply that we had a bright idea and went ahead and did it. I think that a lot of people are trying to do it. We've encountered a couple, we've tried to work with a couple others, and we're still open for technological cooperations in this regard. But the bottom line is it's very difficult, and thanks to the fact that I still have strong connections to the university where I graduated as an aero engineer, we were able to put together a team of engineers. We have more aero engineers than programmers in our team.
Yeah, right now.
And that's
for a video game team that says a lot.
Because you made the event before that you're talking about this is for people who are really passionate about it, and sort of I think you used the term hardcore sort of.
Yeah, hardcore is the term. Yeah.
And I'm always very concerned when I hear that term, because it's a double-edged sword in some ways. Is that you have the people who are who are very into the nitty-gritty, but then I'm always concerned that it potentially puts a barrier of entry in for users. So are you planning on ways to overcome that?
Of course. Well, we'll have ways of making it accessible without dumbing down the physics or the experience. But if you don't want to click every button and turn on every magneto, and we'll have ways to do that by keyboard shortcuts or key assignments that make logical sense for people who don't have the time or the wherewithal to want to study a sim. I will say, though, that Unreal is being used by defense companies that you just don't see in public. So we're aware of who's using Unreal in their defense commercial applications. So we knew it was possible. It was just a matter of can we do it for entertainment software instead of a defense-related application?
Which is a whole different animal.
Right. They're to have a customer of one, whatever government or military they're building for. We're building for millions of people. So it's a different animal, but
it's a very different base.
But similar challenges, and we knew that if they could overcome it, we could overcome it. And we're doing that. You see at the show.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So if people want to find out more about Combat Pilot, to follow your journey and to see the upcomings, get the latest information, where can they go?
Well, you can go to combatpilot.com. We also have a Discord, Combat Pilot Official. We're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on Instagram. Well, maybe we're not on Instagram yet. We'll be on Instagram soon. We have a TikTok account. We're everywhere you need to look. Just search for combat pilot, and we'll be there. We have the properties. We're definitely out there.
Now, I have a question because I know many of my audience are very passionate about it. Sort of just one final question from a technical point of view. So obviously the demo that I got to fly just before, we were using Track IR.
Yes.
A large portion of the flight simulation community is starting to use VR. Are we going to be able to expect VR as part of this combat pilot experience?
It is a prerequisite for us to do VR.
Yeah.
It's a prerequisite, so you've mandated, so it will do VR.
I will personally be lynched if I don't incorporate VR. So
That is great to hear. I
was going to say, yes, VR, but also the eye tracking companies that are here, Tracker, all the VR headset. We plan to support all of those peripheral makers, including motion support eventually, so definitely.
Fantastic.
Can't do a flight sim without supporting.
All right, well, look, thanks very much, Jason. Thanks very much, Carlos, for joining us. Folks, don't forget to check out this team if you are looking into, because I know many of you enjoy your combat flight sims, because, apart from, the World DCS, we haven't seen, dedicated combat flight sims since the old Microsoft days. And that's going back, quite a ways. Long time. All right, folks, so thanks very much for joining us. Take care. Safe skies to all. See you next interview. Bye for now.